Hi, I'm Kang, and I'm getting into Rainbow Six Siege. Shit. Hi, I'm Kang, and I'm deleting Rainbow Six Siege. I just can't do it. Every time I pull the trigger, my aim gets sent up to the gods. Every time I spawn, I get shot by someone camping in a window. Every time I walk into a room, I get shot by someone 3 rooms away. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If only there was a game that was just like Siege, but without any of the sweat, skill, or fun.
Rainbow Six Extraction is basically Rainbow Six Siege light. It piggybacks off Siege to the point where it has no identity of its own. The characters, they're copied. The weapons, they're copied. The gameplay, they're copied. The lore, they're copied. The fun? If you were a fan of the Outbreak event in Rainbow Six Siege, well then you might like this game. Extraction was very clearly based off that event, which isn't necessarily a bad idea considering that a lot of people like that game mode, and rightfully so, it was fun. But the difference is, that was a free update that you could only play for a limited time. This is a $40 game. While the game is fun in some places, it can't stand on its own even with the discounted price tag. The Outbreak mode was fun for an update to play in short bursts, but as an entire game there simply was not enough content. It gets way too boring, way too fast. In 3 hours to be exact. For my first few hours while playing this game, I was genuinely surprised. I was enjoying myself quite a bit, and the game was a lot more fun than I was expecting. The gameplay was very satisfying, which isn't a big surprise considering that it's ripped straight from Siege, which I love. The tactical and stealthy aspects of it were great, and it made it feel more different compared to every other co-op PvE shooter. And the part that surprised me the most was the fact that the game actually launched in a stable state. The servers actually handled the game very well. Sure, they'd occasionally crash while searching for a match, but other than that, they were great with very little lag or latency issues. Bugs here are mostly absent, which is something that must be commended after 2 years of having games launch like this. Sure, the frames drop a bit when at an airlock, and there is one extremely annoying revive bug, where your character will literally just keep collapsing as your teammate tries to revive them, but other than that, a surprisingly solid launch. Hopefully more games follow suit. At first, this game was honestly at an 8 out of 10 territory if it kept it up, but after about 3 to 4 hours, I noticed something that would bug me for the rest of this game. I've already done these objectives multiple times now. Each time you jump into a match, you are given 3 objectives to complete for XP. The problem is, there are only 13 objectives in this game, and actually that's a lie, cause one of them you barely do, and the other one only happens when a teammate dies, so a more accurate number would be 11 objectives, 9 of which are number 1, lazy, number 2, repetitive, and number 3, boring. These objectives range from destroying or marking nests, to attempting to save an NPC who dies in 2.3 seconds, to running your ass across the map to shut down parasite towers with a foam canister, or to activate 3 laptops in under a minute, to capturing smashers or stealth killing elites that never stop moving around, like the elite grunt. Those 2 words are antonyms. These all feel like boring filler just to have something. You could get them over with in like 2 seconds, and majority of the missions is you just walking around the map looking for where the fuck the objective is. They barely use this game's unique mechanics, which is the best part of the game. The best objectives are the ones that use said mechanics correctly, and there are only 2. Sabotage, where you plant a bomb and have to defend the point against waves of enemies for about a minute, and serial scan, while you have to defend a tiny area while the slowest scanner in human history scans it. These 2 are actually fun because you have to play a bit more tactically by strategically having your teammates in certain spots to use the most of their equipment and abilities, and to reinforcing specific walls to stop enemies from coming in. Why the fuck do they reinforce like that? You've had a perfectly fine reinforcement animation since Siege in 2015. Why did you change it in this game to this? Anyways, back on topic, these 2 objectives are a lot of fun and can lead to some very intense moments with your team. By far the best in the game, and if we had more objectives like this, then it would have actually been fun. But instead, 76% of the objectives are filler, and the rest are these 2 game modes. And the one that happens very occasionally, and is probably the most unique in the game: boss battles. Yes, Rainbow Six Extraction actually has boss battles called proteins. Are they good boss battles? No. Are they unique boss battles? Also no. Are they fun boss battles? Again, no. But despite them being not great, I'm glad they're here, and they do change up the pace of gameplay from some boring objectives over and over. They occasionally pop up as the 3rd objectives from time to time, and entering them you're warped to a weird new realm, and the fight begins. They mimic some of the other operators in the game with their abilities and weapons, specifically Smoke, Alibi, Sledge, and that's it. And what these fights consist of is basically this. If you like Destiny's boss battles or the Division's boss battles, then you'll love these ones because they're literally just bullet sponges. Shoot them, if they get close, run, then continue shooting them for 10 decades until they die. Like I said, I'm glad they're here, but man, they really need some more unique gimmicks. I mean, they sort of do with this guy who spreads poison as they move around, but if that equals a good and unique boss battle, then this equals a successful YouTube channel. Maybe with future updates we'll get some cooler fights, but as of right now, these, again, just like the other 12 objectives that we've covered, get real boring real fast. But notice that I've only covered 12 objectives, and if you remember, there are actually 13 in this game, so we're missing one. But what could it be? I fucking hate this. So in this game, when you die, you don't just go back to the menu like in every other game. No, Rainbow Six Extraction has to be unique. Because instead of your operator just going back to the main menu, they're instead trapped on the map that they died in. So you have to go back and rescue them. It's an idea that at first sounds really fucking cool, and it is for the first few times, but going to do the same mission to rescue an operator 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 fucking times gets real tedious, real fast. I don't want to do that again. I want to do this mission, but my main is trapped over here, so I have to go save them now. Oh shit, I died trying to save them. Well, isn't that just dandy? And it doesn't help that saving them is pretty fucking boring. You just pull on them for like 5 minutes while your teammates just shoot at some spores. And if you're the one doing the shooting, then you just have to shoot at these little tentacles on their core. This idea is great, and I can see its potential, but it just gets really tedious after a while. That honestly, at some points, I didn't even feel like saving my operators. So that's all 13 objectives covered, and overall, I didn't like 10 of them. The other one was interesting but could have been done better, and the other 2 I liked. And what that means, in mathematical terms, is that I only like 15% of the objectives. Yeah, I got bored of this game pretty quick. Playing solo, Extraction's gameplay made me want to fall asleep. Sure, the objectives can be a bit more fun with randoms, and a lot more fun with friends, but does that really matter? Every game is more fun with your friends, and that doesn't mean that the game is fun, that means that your friends are fun.
Wait a minute. Friends. This game is more fun with friends. Well, it's a good thing the buddy pass system exists. Son of a bitch! Okay, maybe someone on my friends list owns the game. Oh, that's right, I don't have any friends.
We will be with you shortly. Please hold. We will be with you shortly. Please hold. We will be with you shortly. Please.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, I would like a friend.
So the objectives are extremely bland and repetitive in just a few hours, so what does this game do to spice it up and keep you playing? Well, it uses challenges. These are filler and free-to-play game, let alone a $40 game. So the entire challenges concept as a whole was dumb to me, especially in this game. In every other game, it's used to get some free XP. In this game, it's used not only for XP, but to keep you playing and progress the story. That's not how you keep a player playing your game. As you can see from this menu when I was 8 hours into the game, at first I was actually doing the challenges, then when I unlocked the next location, as you can see, I dropped the concept entirely and just played the game normally. They're just so fucking boring and tedious, like ping a grunt.
Take my target down. Eliminate my target.
If you have a recon device, it can help you locate the...
Eliminate my target. Take down my target.
Nice. And later on, these missions just get more and more difficult, and doing these challenges becomes fucking impossible. Since while you're trying to do them, the Tormentor will sneak up on you and shoot the projectiles right up your ass, evaporating all of your health. Fuck this enemy type. There are 11 enemy types in this game, majority of which can be dealt with pretty easily except for a few, with the worst being these 7-foot dickheads called Tormentors. And that name is fitting, cause they fucking torment me. As soon as you hit them, they'll swoop down into the depths of hell where they belong, but instead of staying there with Satan, they'll instead pop back up to say hello before hurling like 80 projectiles at you, doing upwards of 30 damage each. If this single enemy type was taken out of the game, I don't think anybody would complain. In fact, I'm pretty sure everyone would rejoice. Some of the other enemy types are also annoying, but not to the extent of this one. For example, the Apex, who looks almost identical to the Tormentor, which makes me hate them just a little bit more by default, but they actually aren't as annoying since they don't throw fucking nukes at you, but instead they spawn in enemies. Which, don't get me wrong, is definitely an annoyance, but not as bad as your health evaporating. The Rooters could also be pretty annoying, but a little less than the other two. Their entire body is armored except for the back of their head, but the issue is, when they're alerted, good luck making it to the back of their head. Actually, good luck making it anywhere, because the Rooters do this.
Reloading.
Very fun. All the other enemy types in this game aren't too bad. Breaches can be pretty annoying at times, but literally just shoot their back. But if they get too close to you and then you shoot their back, goodbye to your health. The Bloater is basically a green reskin of the Breachers, and instead of exploding, they'll just spread poison everywhere when they die. Grunts and Spikers also aren't that big of a threat, dying with just one headshot. But the most badass looking enemy and the most intimidating by far is the Smashers, the tanks of this game. These guys are incredibly disappointing. When I first saw the Smasher, I thought it would be a badass intense fight, similar to the tanks in Left 4 Dead, where there's no other monsters nearby and it's just you versus them. But instead, they get one-shotted when stabbed in the back, which is lame. And that's all the enemy types. Overall, they're not bad, but they are a bit generic. I still think Left 4 Dead does it a lot better, with hordes of grunts being the main enemy that you'll face, and special zombies always being a threat in the back of your head, spawning in and screwing you over occasionally, making them a lot more intimidating. Here, special enemies are just too frequent to the point where they get boring and annoying, and it definitely doesn't help with how OP they can be, especially on later maps, and by that, I specifically mean these maps. This game is split up into 4 different stages, each of which having 3 levels, and all of them taking place in the US. I don't know why every map takes place in the US. It would have been really cool to explore parts of Europe to see how the infection is impacting the cities over there. I mean, it's not like we only play as Americans, considering that half the fucking operators are from Europe, so why don't we get to play over there, or at the very least, Canada, considering that we go to Alaska, which is right fucking... Anyways, the maps are okay. There's nothing crazy about them. There's none that I absolutely love. I mean, New York is kind of cool and seeing the Statue of Liberty all fucked up, but other than that, they're mostly forgettable. As you progress through each stage, the difficulty keeps going up until you enter Truth and Consequences, where the difficulty goes from this to this. At this point, the game is just mad that you made it this far and is basically just spawning in hordes of unbeatable enemies until you either give up or grind for 1,000,000 hours to become powerful enough to beat it. I didn't have the patience for that, I gave up. So overall, Rainbow Six Extraction is an okay game, which is really sad. With more time, this game could have been so good if there was just more variety. And I can't see this game getting better with updates putting in stuff like new maps and game modes and objectives, which will hopefully utilize the more unique aspects of this game more. I do have hope for this game, but as of right now, I pass on it, and maybe wait for it to be discounted to about $20. An okay game with a lot of potential.
Alright, Kang, what are we playing?
Rainbow Six Extraction. Hello?